So, how many of us are in intentional and conscious relationship with the idea or the reality that light and darkness, destruction and creation are always in a dance with each other? That the one cannot exist without the other. And in fact, the two need each other in order to create an emergence. That as there is divergence, as there is convergence, this is what allows an emergence in terms of this experience that we call life. And I just had an aha a few weeks ago listening to a beautiful podcast called Threads of Healing by Dr. Ilamanga, where she was talking to a spiritual leader, a woman who specializes in African traditions. And I was fascinated by the reminder of the dance between these forces, and that often when we are experiencing a world that feels dark, that feels overwhelming in terms of its structural power, and us as little people start to feel like non-agents, we start to feel like we have no sense of capability in terms of our own manifestation, I was just reminded that actually that isn't true. That in fact, this is the time in which we are called to radical creation. That as what we experience as being forces of destruction, whether it's towards people, towards nature, towards ourselves, our identities, our deepest loves, our deepest yearning to be fully human and to be fully dignified, when we experience those things is when we should be radically creative, is when we should wake up to the power that is within us to co-create the world in which we live. Because I think the power of darkness, right, is that, I think that, people who live in this ideology or philosophy or practice of power over others carry with them an energetic force that can be overwhelming, to the effect that we then forget that light and creativity and power with, love with, is just as powerful. It can be just as overwhelming. And if we don't forget that, it allows us to be in engagement and in conversation with this force. And that ultimately, when we get into that dance and we get into that engagement, when we get into that seeing, that actually we continue to have power and we continue to have agency in our light and in our love and in our creativity. That is, when we awaken to this is what allows us to remain courageous in the world. This is what allows us to remain present with what is, to be both in acceptance and awareness, but at the same time in also creating the transformations that we desire. And that just really struck me as a powerful aha, and as a point of encouragement to all of us, that as we go through these really difficult times, let's not fall asleep. Let's not be overwhelmed. Let's in fact tap into the question, what is being awakened inside of me in this moment? What am I reminded of about the dance of life? And what am I then energized to do because of that aha? I just thought I'd share that with you today. It has really been inspiring and encouraging me over the last few weeks. Light and love to all of you. Bye-bye.